would you believe that we pulled it together for the second episode of the biweekly Fast Five from the Steve and Kyle podcast?
We just kicked the saloon doors open. You pulled the brim of your cowboy hat down.
Mm-hmm.
I just launched one into the spittoon in the corner.
This is Five-Card Shuffle, of course, by K-Mac, Kevin MacLeod.
The saloon is stopped. All the patrons are now staring at Steve and I as our spurs click.
Yeah.
As we walk in.
Why did we pick? Well, we only picked this because it had the word or it had the word five in the title, right?
I searched extensively the Kevin MacLeod inventory.
So you searched for anything labeled fast or
five.
Anything labeled five.
I was even searching for speedy. There just wasn't anything that fit quite like the 5-card shuffle here.
And boy, is it perfect.
It is perfect.
Second episode of the Fast Five. Let's just jump right into it.
Fast Five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You want to start it out?
Yeah, let's kick it off this week, Steve. I mentioned it 2 weeks ago, but now it's time. The Royal Rumble.
Oh, God, not this again.
Come on. One of the top 3 WWE pay-per-views of the year.
Top 3. Yeah.
Oh, man. I can't wait. We'll get to that. On the turnaround. Super Bowl 54.
Okay, Super Bowl 54. That is the Chiefs, the 49ers.
It was the Chiefs and the 49ers.
That's right.
I'm now remembering that I shouldn't have put this on here.
No. Because this will come out a few days before.
Yeah,
this will be out a few days before.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, planned it perfectly.
Yeah. I mean, this is live right now. Whenever you're listening to it, this is a live episode.
Steve and Kyle are in the basement.
Okay, Chiefs, 49ers. Do you want my huge prediction?
Sure, drop one.
I think that the 49ers, led by Jimmy Garoppolo,
Jimmy G,
56-9, they win this one.
The impeachment hearings.
What is it? What's the current line? Now we are 8 days out from the Super Bowl at the time of this recording.
Right. So the line began, Steve, at Pick'em. No favorite.
No favorite, really.
No favorite. But that came out.
Has that ever happened?
Yeah, I think that has. But it has changed. I want to say in the last 3 days it has gone to Kansas City -2, which means Kansas City a 2-point favorite over the 49ers.
Okay.
A lot of people anticipating the Kansas City offense is going to be hard to slow down. Well, you might be able to slow it down, but it's nearly impossible to stop it. Yeah, it is a 2-point Kansas City favorite. Right now, the over-under is set at 55 total points. That has jumped from 51.5, which means a ton of money has come in on the over there. Sorry.
You're saying 56-9 is probably not accurate.
Save all those details for Sports Gamble Cast that I will launch here coming up.
We'll talk more about this, though,
on the turnaround.
Right.
So that the impeachment hearings, you've been watching any?
I haven't been watching, but I've been kind of reading like a daily recap. And it seems like a lot of people saying the same thing on one side,
right?
And then a lot of people on the other side saying, you're not presenting any new evidence after they all voted to block any new evidence.
I haven't even been following it.
It's just, a little frustrating, a little stupid.
It seems
kind of dog and pony show.
It goes back to what you and I have been saying on the regular podcast for a long time regarding
Steve and
this.
Kyle podcast, that is.
If you can find it. And that is, like, wake me up when something's actually going to happen.
Right.
And I still feel that way.
Wake me up when there's a vote.
And I still feel that way because I still feel like nothing's actually going to happen.
Yeah.
Then this appears to be mostly for show.
Yeah.
After that, I don't know how to pronounce this. My apologies. I'm going to say it like it's spelled coronavirus.
Yeah, coronavirus.
Is it corona?
Yeah.
I just, obviously, I think of Tony Romo sitting in the sand on a commercial or John Gruden.
Yeah, because it's that has been the perfect opportunity for people to make jokes about, what about the Dos Equis virus?
What about, have you guys heard of the Modelo flu?
Ew. Yeah, that is, man, that's scary.
Terrifying, right?
Like entire cities bigger than like New York City are being essentially quarantined.
Yeah,
no one in, no one out.
Disneyland in, I don't think it's in Wuhan, but somewhere in China, totally shut down while this is going on. Hundreds have died over, or maybe not hundreds have died.
No, I thought it was
26.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought it was in
notes.
the 20s or 30s.
But hundreds sick. Cases now confirmed in the United States.
Terrifying.
Washington State.
This terrifies me more than ever.
Yeah.
Especially with a daughter now.
Right. And Chicago.
It's not just me. It's not just if I croak, then it's just my wife. Now it's my wife and daughter, or
right.
Any other combination of that. It is terrifying. But what do we do? What do we do about it? Do I just not leave my house? Do I not have any contact with people?
I feel like up until 2 weeks ago, they didn't even know what this was.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, mystery illness has stricken hundreds in China. It's like, okay. And then next thing you know, it's overseas. This obviously doesn't, I don't think yet it's reached the fervor stage of, like what the avian flu was or the swine flu in its peak. But this has the potential to be something that really terrifies the masses.
Yeah, done. Already has terrified me.
Yeah.
So.
And lastly, Steve, the Space Force.
Boy, that logo sure looks a bit like Star Trek.
Somebody said it looks like Trump told Barron to Google Space Army and come up with something. So this is the second. And now
I'm just shocked that
it's something
that Space Force is actually a thing.
Yeah.
So they're a branch of the Air Force.
They're the 6th military branch of the United States.
Right. But they technically work in conjunction with the Air Force, or they're part of the Air Force?
I think because I believe the Air Force can now begin applying for transfers to the Space Force.
So if somebody's in the Air Force, they can be in the Space Force?
I think so.
What? Question.
Mm-hmm.
What is the Space Force?
Well, Steve, it's a series of tubes, and
because we know personally, we know some Air Force veterans.
Yeah,
Cy Nolan Ryan Young and his wife. So if they wanted to, could they re-enlist and go to the moon?
Possibly, yeah. I think we're probably gonna have an outpost on the dark side.
Nice.
Maybe like Armageddon. Maybe we'll
go up there and start drilling.
Put something on an asteroid.
Leave Bruce Willis behind so he can hit the detonator. Because it won't work remotely.
Now, this is the second hit in the media that the Space Force has taken. The first one, not as warranted, but I understand the jokes about it. You saw when they posted their uniforms with the patch on it.
Yep. Yeah, they look like they used the same camo that the other branches of the military all use.
Yeah.
Some of it was, I think it's like digital camo.
Yeah, digital.
Yeah, where it's just little. It looks like Minecraft, basically.
But all the jokes about, oh boy, I hope you can hide from the stars up there with your camo.
Yeah. Shouldn't they have just made it like black with some little dots on it?
But in fairness, they said obviously it's a branch of the Air Force, and they're sharing space and offices with that, so it fits in. So they're not walking around with black jumpsuits with just white stars like a baby's wall in a nursery.
But man, that would be great.
Wouldn't it be beautiful?
Yeah.
Before that, the coronavirus, we talked about that. Did you see the video? My brother sent me this, Steve. Maybe I can text it to you really quickly. Of their whole plan, I guess, is to build a brand new hospital in I want to say I believe it's pronounced Wuhan.
Okay. This is in China.
And they're going to have it open in a week.
They're going to completely build a hospital in a week?
Yeah, I just sent you this link.
Tents or?
It doesn't look like it. And when you look at this video, there's about 1 million cranes, and they're all working to...
They're just cranking it out.
And it looks like they're all working on getting ground ready and everything, and they're going to have this 1,000-bed hospital up in
a week.
In a week. By February 3rd, they want it open, strictly for this virus.
All right, so this is a tweet from ABC News.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring this up on the Jumbotron.
Yeah,
I don't know, do you know if there's any actual...
I don't even know if there's audio on it,
okay.
No.
Let me see. Where did that go? Try to open it up. Come on. open.
But this kind of goes along with what you've seen what they did with the Olympics years ago.
Yeah.
Where it seems like everything went up in a flash.
Oh boy, yeah. Okay, so that like you described, what are we looking at? Probably 30 cranes in a massive field that looks like it's probably the size of, I don't know, 6 or 8 football fields. Yeah. And they are just
it doesn't really show them doing anything, but they're all there and working and digging and getting everything ready to go.
That's insane. That's completely insane.
I can't wait because that same video in a week we'll have another video of like a functioning hospital.
How?
I don't understand it. And maybe it will end up being tense, but based on this, my impression is that it's going to be a physical building.
If they succeed, that is one of the greatest accomplishments in the history of man.
Unbelievable, right? Unbelievable. But
I mean,
yeah.
I don't want to be there because I can't imagine that it's going to be a very stable build.
But yeah, hospital
in a week.
Strictly to deal with patients of this coronavirus right now happening and currently coming overseas.
I mean, that's good. Good that they're doing it.
Terrifying, though. Like you said, terrifying. Before that, the impeachment hearings. I haven't watched a second of it, Steve. I haven't even really been following it. I just see headlines, but all the headlines you see are kind of meant to mislead. Like a senator was handing out fidget spinners during it.
Yeah.
Which is like
it's good that they're taking it seriously.
Yeah, right.
I mean, real good. Good that everyone's on board.
And it's all a bit of an eye roll right now, and it feels like this was kind of not doomed because it is what it is. It's technically a trial, but it feels like this had been decided before they were even sent to the Senate, and now we're just going through a show at weird times of the day without TV. It's really weirdly done.
Yeah.
I think both sides agree. Let's just get to November.
Yeah. I mean, at this point,
we're damn near there. Focus on the election in 2020 for both sides, and let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Before that, Super Bowl 54, the huge prediction from you is a 56-9 weird score. So no, that makes sense.
I mean,
maybe they're down.
It's just 8 touchdowns by the 49ers, and we're gonna go touchdown, missed extra point, field goal.
Oh wow, I was gonna go missed 2-point conversion because they're down so far.
Right, you think
that they go for 2 and they miss it, but then they kick a field goal later.
Yeah. Either that or the elusive 4 safeties and an extra point.
Elusive is one way to put it.
Tough to kick the extra point without scoring the touchdown.
Have you do you kind of wish you could bring it up to your cohorts again and maybe go do Radio Row? Because you didn't get to do the one time they went.
Yeah, I didn't. They've been a couple times. They were in New York and then it
was a different time zone.
Arizona or something.
Yeah, it was a different time zone because everything was screwed up. Miami, though.
Miami would be great. I'd go to Miami for a couple of days.
Well, it's this year, so it won't be for a while.
Right. But, yeah, I mean, that would be nice to go there for a couple of days in January.
You think, what do you think the odds are you and I getting
press passes?
Now,
well, we talked about it last week.
Did you go through the process, though? Because you were working for the show. Were you the ones, like, submitting stuff to get on the...
No, that was... it was all submitted by the syndication company.
Dang.
They handled that.
So we just got to get syndicated in the next year.
Well, we have to get on the radio and then syndicate.
No.
So you're going for the even more elusive than 4 safeties and an extra point radio model of syndication not on the radio?
Yeah. How to get on Radio Row Super Bowl. This is more of a off-air.
No. Let's handle it right now.
I don't want to visit Radio Row. I don't want to...
No, I want to be front and center. I want to be next to like Boomer Esiason.
I want a table at Radio Row. There we go. Super Bowl radio. Your every guest is a product to push.
Might be a little late for this.
Yeah, but I'm already thinking 2021.
And where is it then?
Where? All right, now you're screwing up my Google searches. Super Bowl 2021, Sunday, February 7. Tampa.
Oh. Perfect.
We've got one of those budget airlines we were talking about that can fly us right
Flies
there.
us right in. Yep. But we're not allowed to bring a bag, so we're going to have to buy all new equipment once we get down there.
No, it's fine. We get a personal item, right? So
I'll just shove the mixer down my pants.
We now carry purses.
You can tuck your arms inside of your jacket and put the microphone arms sticking out of your sleeves.
There's nothing.
Just act as though you are a robot, man.
There's nothing more I want in this world than you and me talking to Pete Rose with 2 lavalier mics.
Like holding it up to him,
and like a bought mixer at a Radio Shack in Tampa.
Yeah, we'll find the one Radio Shack that's still open.
And we got a lot of questions asked. Do we have to bring our own folding table?
Oh boy,
how does any of that work? But that is this upcoming weekend, Steve.
56-9. Just take it to Vegas right now.
What's it going to take to reinvigorate the Super Bowl Saturday discussion? Can we bring that back?
It comes up every year
because it's so stupid, and I never thought about this more so than the College Football National Championship a few weeks ago being at 8:30 on a Monday, and it didn't get done till nearly 1 a.m.
But something I like the Super Bowl on Saturday discussion, but what I really like is the holiday on Monday after Super Bowl discussion,
right?
Because then we get a short work week, get a day off from work,
right?
That, and in my opinion, that is always better.
And lastly, Steve, the Royal Rumble, the road to WrestleMania has officially begun. I can't wait. I'm excited. The Royal Rumble, probably the favorite wrestling event of the year. I mean, over the top rope, 30-man in the ring. Brock Lesnar in at number 1. How exciting. Now they're doing it at baseball stadiums and large form arenas. The ambiance, man. The electricity, Steve.
Oh, boy.
Woo!
Fast 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That is something. Boy, I can't wait to talk about that. Never. All right, first on my list for the Fast Five this week, it's just kind of a general one. The Major League Baseball scandal, not specifically the Astros, but Astros, Red Sox. A bunch of people lost their jobs.
It doesn't seem like it's leaving the news cycle.
Did you talk about this much on Sports Tape? No, really, not at all. Okay.
No, not at all. I gave a bit of an explanation. We'll talk about it on the turnaround.
All right, next, Jeff Bezos. His phone was hacked, supposedly by the Saudis.
By the Saudi Arabia?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What do you think we're going to get off of that? Does it really matter?
I don't know. But
is Jeff Bezos ridden with some scandal there's been conspiracies about, or is it just going to be lewd text messages between him and his then mistress, now girlfriend or fiancé?
They said that the microphone. They think that the microphone might have been compromised.
Okay.
So they might have been able to listen in on everything, not just...
So there might be business stuff.
Yeah, not just seeing his text and his emails, but actual business discussions.
Take that. Listening with Alexas and things like that.
Up next, Antonio Brown. I feel like if we had been doing the Fast Five for the last 4 months...
You could put him on there.
He could have been on there. Yeah. He could have been on both of our lists every week.
A radio show I mentioned, Dan Lebitard, has talked about this a lot. It goes in ebbs and flows of when it's funny and when it's not, when it's funny and when it's sad, and a lot of sad. Seems like the most recent one. Hopefully this is a step in the right direction. Most recently now, I believe with a GPS tracker on him and drug and alcohol testing and a mental health evaluation, which all seems like it's probably very necessary considering the goings-on recently with him.
Barricading himself in his house and accused of battery.
Yeah, and in the Instagram video he did live where he was yelling at police officers who he called because his girlfriend was whatever. It's a nightmare. I don't know how. This is for the best right now. Not taking into account the weirdness that happened with the helmet and everything, and how this appears to be a very serious matter that hopefully he can get some help.
Up next, duplicate coronavirus.
Yeah, terrifying, right?
Yeah.
And it changes by the day. Now that there's cases in the United States, the obvious fear is that it spreads.
Yeah, because all it takes is one person not knowing they had it or knowing they had it and, ignoring all signs to stay put and getting on a plane.
I believe it's been described as a viral pneumonia.
Yeah.
Which you've had pneumonia, right?
Not recently.
Maybe I'm misremembering.
Yeah,
I thought you had told me a story that you had pneumonia, but
I don't think so.
It can be untreated or unaddressed. It can be
a killer. Yeah.
And
now, if you catch it early enough, it can be treated and
I think with pills, right?
And you're good.
Yeah.
And there's no long-term effects or anything like that.
But still, this is scary. I mean, a 60-year-old woman, I believe, in Chicago. But yeah, the second that starts to spread, and considering how little people seem to know about this, yeesh. These are always terrifying. Though I was like, oh, is this the epidemic? That you read about, it's going to wipe out 30% of the population, type of thing. Right. Now, obviously, with hundreds and hundreds of cases and 20-some deaths, it doesn't seem like it's going to be just like it's a death sentence.
Yeah.
But still scary.
Up next, another duplicate, Space Force.
You pumped?
I joined the Space Force.
Start getting pictures from like Jupiter.
Yeah.
We're going to send them to Jupiter?
Yeah.
Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, that's where the next fight will take place.
Yeah, it's going to be a while. It's like 8 years.
Is that how long it takes to get to Jupiter?
No, I think it might even be longer. I think Mars is like 6 years.
No, Mars is 6 months.
Are you sure? Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Boy, I don't know much about space.
Yeah, but I mean...
So we got the Force.
Yeah, exactly. The Force is there to answer these questions. Like, how long would it take for me to get to Jupiter?
Now, this is obviously different. This is meant more for, patrolling and being sure that there's nothing, military that's going on afoot in space.
Is that what it is?
I think so, because it's not meant for exploration, I don't think.
Okay.
But did you see that Twitter thread by Elon Musk this past week discussing how he's back on the Mars wagon of sending groups of people to Mars and people asking him scientific questions, but there's no magnetic force. It still is such a weird concept that this trip to Mars thing seems to be so rushed. And it hasn't happened yet.
And what are we in a big hurry for?
But there is this massive push. Like, we got to get people there. We got to get people there. It's still so unknown. I feel like we didn't even have real pictures from the surface of Mars up until 4 or 5 years ago. And yet now the next logical step is to send people there to colonize?
I mean, great. If we can do it, it's the greatest feat in modern civilization. Now, with number 2 being the Chinese building that hospital
in a week.
In 1 week.
Yeah.
It's like 1 and 1A. But, I mean, I don't know. Is any part of you at all intrigued by...
Listen, if this planet's going to die by, the environment swallowing us up in a frozen tundra, fine. I'll die that way.
Like,
don't
what
put
happens
me in a tube in the beyond of space and tell me, because part of the reading of that was any first civilization on Mars has to live in very deep, deep caves because of the atmosphere and everything until anything can be constructed.
Like the radiation? Because they don't have an atmosphere, or
I believe, there's no magnetic there's so much weird stuff about that surface that you'd have to live. It's going to be miserable for the first however many generations of people decide to live
probably
there.
Thousands of years.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Okay, in a completely hypothetical scenario, say there's a small civilization on Mars.
Yeah,
500 people are living there.
Sure.
Completely self-sustained. It's obviously you can't go outside without a spacesuit on.
Sure,
but
all makes sense.
It is normal. It is as normal as can be, and teleportation is available.
Mm-hmm.
You can teleport there. Boom, you're there in 10 seconds.
Yep.
Are you doing it?
No.
Really?
Unless you tell me I'm dying here. Like, hey, death's imminent if you stay.
Then no, I mean, you can teleport there. You can teleport back.
No.
Really?
Not interested.
No interest.
Not interested at all.
I would be first in line.
Really? I mean, I get the curiosity of it, but for me, nah.
I want to go there. I want to know what it's like not on this planet.
Everything I've read about it, it just seems miserable.
Yeah, probably. But again, you're not Matt Damon in The Martian. You're not living in a bubble and recycling your crap to grow potatoes.
Right.
You go there, you got a cot that you can sleep in for a day. You go to the dining hall, eat a burger. Maybe play some Pac-Man on the
Or else I can do that, right?
Yeah, but you can do it on Mars.
Do that here.
Maybe drive around in a moon buggy or a Mars buggy.
I got golf carts and ATVs here. Keep me on Earth.
All right.
Don't want the ocean. Don't want space. Send it all to hell. Not interested.
Send it all to hell. Hear that, folks? The greatest technological accomplishments this world has ever seen. Dismissed with send it all to hell.
Uh-huh.
All right, before that we had the coronavirus.
Yeah, we talked about, we've discussed it at length now. It's terrifying. I don't even know what the next step is. I mean, containment seems to be the next option.
Does it worry you? Like, do you... A
little bit, yeah.
When you wake up in the morning, are you thinking like, ooh, don't shake someone's hand, or if someone sneezes on me, I'm screwed?
You know, I haven't yet. But, you know, considering what I do for a living and where I'm at and the people, just the quantity of people that I see and encounter in environments, it should, probably more than it does right now. But as of now, no. Presuming that this expands, which it will. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be a pandemic or anything like that, but it will be more than just the 2 cases in the United States confirmed. It probably will become more forefront as I'm out and about every day, especially like you said, you know, coming home with a wife and a kid, and a wife who works in a hospital.
Yeah.
That's the scariest part for me.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that angle of it.
They still ask you, Steve, when you go in, like if you've gone in for various stuff over the years. I believe they still ask you, have you traveled to any of these parts of the of the world regarding Ebola? Do you think we get to that point with this where part of the registration at the hospital is, have you visited any parts of China?
Maybe.
In the last 8 weeks.
I mean, if it keeps growing, if it keeps getting bigger, then why not? Just to be safe, at least.
Man.
Antonio Brown. That guy is, I mean, for the last couple months, obviously everyone has said, like, is there something mentally wrong with him? I think that now more than ever, it's clear that there's a lot going on in that guy's head.
Yep.
There's
he needs some help.
Whether it's CTE related or what. I had read a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago at this point, somebody had put together this theory that when he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think it was in 2014 or something, he suffered it was a major head-to-head collision.
You're probably talking about the Vontaze Burfict hit, and where Antonio Brown was either stumbling forward or whatever, and received a shoulder to the side of the head hit that really, really damaged him, laid him out.
Knocked him out.
Burfict got suspended for that hit.
Yeah.
But there's been a running thing that is very possibly...
That was the moment.
A hit that damaged him.
Because they laid out his lists of incidents in the NFL. Right. And before that, he hadn't... Like, there had been one incident involving him. And then after that, in the weeks to follow, it was just... I mean, it's just this ridiculous list of 50 more things that have happened to him since then. So, does he...
No. Never back in the NFL. I don't think you can.
That actually wasn't what I was going to ask. Does he live through the rest of this year?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You think?
I think now that it's in a court and police
I don't know. I feel like that guy is the next... it's not going to surprise me to see the headline, Antonio Brown dead. From...
Man. Where's he at in the death pool? Is he high on the list?
Top 100.
I'm more optimistic right now, and granted this could change tomorrow, but at this point I'm optimistic that he is going to be able to get some help that he desperately needs.
Hopefully he does. Guy's got 2 kids?
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully for their sake he gets help.
Yep.
Before that, Jeff Bezos and his hacked phone.
Yeah, do you think
is there anything that...
Does he seem worried to you?
I don't know. Everyone already says how terrible Amazon is and how awful they are to work for, and the terrible working conditions and things like that. So
I guess the worry would be like, hey, was he talking about upcoming business deals or something like that would be pertinent that he would desperately want covered up, or not covered up, but just not released to the public. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see. I mean, they haven't... If it was in fact hacked and there was information, so nothing's been released. So I would be curious as to what Saudi Arabian intelligence is doing with it. Unless,
Who knows? All right, before that, first on the list was the Major League Baseball scandal, the sign-stealing scandal that has affected the Houston Astros.
Yeah.
And now the Boston Red Sox, the 2017 and 2018 World Series champions. Do you think should titles be taken away?
No, it's stupid anyway. It's stupid to take titles away and vacate titles. I thought that for a long time, even dating back to, when they, they took back the Heisman Trophy that Reggie Bush got from USC. Well, he was still the best player in college football that year just because he took money. I don't really care.
Yeah. That's
silly to say that, and it doesn't do anybody any good. Like vacating Joe Paterno's wins. What does that accomplish?
I think that one's different.
But he coached and won those football games.
Yeah.
And doing these meaningless acts doesn't... I mean, are we going to walk around calling the Los Angeles Dodgers the World Series champs for that year? No.
I wouldn't say...
So they're just not one?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a meaningless punishment to me that's for show. I think what they've done has been fine. I think the major outcry has been that no players have been punished, right? But I understand why. If you tell the players, hey, tell us what you did, but know that you're going to be suspended if what you did was wrong, why would anybody say they did anything?
Why would you step up at all?
So to that degree, you have to give them some sense of immunity that, hey, you're not going to be punished. Just tell us what was up, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, can it all just be anonymous?
Right. And that's the way it kind of was. Obviously, the players talked, and this is where we're at. But... yeah, I didn't talk about it on Sports Tate. I feel like it's still a little bit fresh, Steve. I feel like there's still a lot to be unfolded about this, and I don't want to be... I don't like reactionary sports radio. I don't like reactionary talk shows. I don't think there's any need for that. Let it digest and then discuss it kind of in hindsight and the way it went down. So this is a big deal, though.
It is. It's huge.
It's a big deal that I think when it was initially mentioned and talked about last year, there's videos of players and the managers laughing about it.
Yeah.
In press conferences, and obviously they're not laughing now.
Well, yeah, I mean, you look back at that tweet from the Astros, and it said, like, there's a buzz in the air or something, referencing
a buzzer
that players were wearing underneath their jerseys.
It's a big deal.
Supposedly buzz whenever a fastball is coming or a slider or whatever.
And in terms of the overarching issues facing Major League Baseball, this is a decent sized divide between the players and the owners that it's going to affect the upcoming labor agreement, because now there's going to have to be talks of how they can punish players when things like this come about.
Yeah.
Obviously, a union separation is a big deal. It's a big deal in the sports landscape.
There you have it, folks. Not Sports Tate. What am I saying? Fast 5 episode in the books.
Boy, I liked my Sports Tate last week, though. Please give it a listen. Big fan.
Yeah, the plan is for you to do a Sports Tate on the off weeks of the Fast 5 podcast.
Yep.
So hopefully that means that 2 legit episodes from the Steve and Kyle podcast world on a weekly basis.
Every week, about 8 to 10 episodes a month. Doubling your output for the same low price. This is weird music. Is this what we play?
I think so. I think we decided to go with this at the end of the...
Yeah, I just felt like I was about to kick the saloon doors back open on the way out, but here we are. No, it's already we're too far gone. No, we're too far gone, Steve.
We'll discuss it. We'll discuss it off the air.
Yeah, let's go to the discussion den.
All right, at Steve and Kyle, Facebook and Twitter, and Instagram as well. 424-30-SK-POD, 424-307-5763. If you want to add anything, have a question, a comment, or a concern, we'll talk to you next week.